All right, welcome to another 20-minute training class. We're going to talk about transformation today. We're going to talk about selling your transformational coaching in 2024 and what that looks like. And if you want to watch or rewatch a lot of the trainings that we've done before, we've got playlists on both YouTube and Facebook, and they are called the 20-minute classes, I believe. I'm going to put links here in the comment section. So if you are watching us, if you're watching this video on YouTube or Facebook, then hopefully you can check it out. I'm not able to find the link right away for YouTube. For Facebook for whatever reason. So you can go to facebook.com/Coach Sean Smith and check it out. Check out more of the videos if you want. All right. So apparently I just took myself out of the studio, but it was only for a few seconds. So hopefully you're still here. If you're watching the replay, then let me know. Type in replay in the comment section and engage as much as you can. Ask questions, etc. With all this information, it's important to engage. All right, let's get started here on the concept of selling transformational coaching in 2024. And what you need to understand is that we live in an attention economy. We no longer live in an information economy. I mean, information is part of the ways that we get attention, but I think if you want to be in business of any kind, especially if you want to be a coach, you have to understand the economy that you're in. Because if you don't understand the economy that you're in, then you're going to be selling things that people are not buying, or you're going to be selling things and going up against the rules, and you won't have a chance. So what you need to understand is that our attention is the currency in today's markets, basically. The big social media companies especially are doing everything they can to attract our attention, generally with sensational content, and then selling the attention. So if somebody has a lot of eyeballs on their YouTube channel or on their Facebook page or on their IG account or whatever, then the platforms can sell that attention to advertisers. And that's essentially the business model that we're working with. Now, that business model is not new. That's how regular media, traditional media, TV shows and movies and all that stuff has been operating forever. But now it's in our world in a way that we've never seen before, because everywhere we take our phone, we're in this attention economy. And so we're being bombarded with marketing messages all the time. I heard recently that the average human sees, I think, like 3,000 marketing messages a day, whether it's little notifications or ads or links that we could click, or billboards as we drive along the freeway or something. We're being bombarded by marketing, and we're like assaulted at a level that we never have before. And so that's really important for you to understand, because if you're going to enter the marketing space, there's a lot of competition. But even more important than that, you need to understand how humans are creating a default shield against all of that information that's being marketed at them, right? All the assaults, right? So you're trying to get people's attention that are programmed to try to avoid the attention, try to ignore the attention. And that's really difficult. And the other thing that you need to understand is that everything is optimized for the media companies to win. They're not optimized for you to win as a coach. Even if you want to do really good work in the world, you want to help people change their lives, the system is not optimized for you to win. It's optimized for the companies to maximize their profits. And what that has done is it's created a very shallow experience for most humans that are just caught up in this transactional game. So if you understand that you are in an attention economy, then you need to learn how to get people's attention. But if you want to change people's lives, then you can't get their attention the way that most people are used to getting their attention stolen from them, or the way that most advertising algorithms are working, which is, again, sensationalism. So if you want to help people change their lives and you play the sensational game where you have to make these wild claims and use crazy thumbnails to get their visual attention, and then you get them in your space and you try to sell them transformation, or you try to sell them life change, or you try to sell them, feel good, love, kind of, wishy-washy sort of stuff, it's going to be a big problem, because that's not why they were attracted to the advertisement or to the post in the first place. So it's essentially kind of like a bait and switch. Even if it feels to you like you're doing a positive switch, it's still a switch. And the people that are attracted to the shallow, sensational information are generally not going to want to stay in your classroom and learn at a deep level, right? If you have a shallow magnet, you're going to attract shallow buyers. So don't use a shallow magnet to teach deep stuff. And the reason that's really important is because most of the things that are being taught out there are taught with the intention of and the philosophy of shallow magnets. So you learn how to do Facebook ads, let's say, or Instagram ads, you're going to primarily learn how to attract people's shallow attention. And for any of you that want to be coaches, it's not going to work. It won't work, because even the things that you have to do to increase the numbers on the front end, which makes everything look good from a vanity perspective, are actually the exact opposite things that will help you on the back end, that will help people stay in your programs and have them commit to the things that you really need them to commit to in order to succeed with changing their lives, right? So it's really important that you understand that a lot of the front end wins quickly turn into back end, not just losses, but back end destruction. And I'm speaking from experience. I've been in this industry full-time for 18 years. I've seen all of the fads. I've seen the sensation around live videos or around webinars or around all the different platforms and stuff. And the only thing that sticks around is foundation. So if you don't understand the foundation, then you really have no chance if you want to build a solid company. So a subset of this conversation is for you to understand, what are you actually selling? Are you selling a transaction, or are you selling a transformation? If you are in the coaching world, you can be a transactional coach or you can be a transformational coach. So coaching isn't necessarily one or the other. So you could be coaching people, let's say, on how to make money in the stock market. That's a transaction. But if you're coaching people on how to heal their relationships, or how to heal their own wounds, or how to change their beliefs, or how to really make long-term pattern shifts, then you're in the transformational world. The problem that a lot of people go up against is that the transactional world of sales and marketing is really about the intellect. It's speaking from the intellect to other people's intellect. But the transformational conversation in sales and marketing is more about embodiment. You're speaking from your embodiment to other people's embodiments. Now, the bigger issue here is that most sales tactics and philosophies are transactional and intellectual in nature. So if you see that the majority of the programs on the shelf are teaching you how to sell, but you don't understand that they're teaching from a different philosophy than you need to succeed, then it doesn't matter how many people have purchased those programs. It doesn't matter how well they work for other people. If you learn transactional sales tactics and employ them in a transformational conversation, not only is it not going to be the best strategy, it's probably going to be the worst strategy. But that causes a lot of frustration. And please, if any of this is landing for you, let me know in the comment section, whether you just tell me that's what you've experienced, or if you have questions about some of the stuff that I'm saying, please ask. So what most of us in the coaching world have as a problem is not a right or wrong problem, but it's an alignment problem. So it's not that these sales tactics don't work, it's that they won't work for you. If you're selling something different than the product that most of those sales tactics are selling. And most of those sales tactics are selling information, and they're selling money of some kind, right? They're selling like a financial return on investment. That's usually what they're trying to sell. And you have to understand that the reason people buy intellectual transactional products is wildly different than the reason people buy deep transformational products or enroll in programs or hire you as a coach. And the biggest thing that's missing in transformational conversations that isn't required in transactional conversations is a level of trust between the people, right? You might need to trust that this particular source is going to deliver the information that you purchase over here, but you don't need to trust that that individual person has been through the journey that you've been through in your life and that can help you manage, and they have the capacity to deal with all the stuff that you're going to deal with or that you think might come up. You don't need that kind of trust. But in the transformational world, you do need that kind of trust for somebody to say, I want to hire you as a coach to help me change my life, or I want to enroll in your program to help me change my life. Life change requires a trust that transactional financial return on investment does not require. So if you don't understand that, then you're not going to put enough emphasis on building that trust. And if you don't build the trust, and trust is required, you cannot win. Now, the way to build trust is actually very simple. It's just scary for most people. The way to build trust is truth and transparency. And I didn't say this at the very beginning of the video. I probably should have. This is going to be part one of a conversation. I don't know if it's only going to be 2 parts. Maybe it's going to be more. I can tell already that I'm only going to get to probably, 2 or 3 of my points here. And there's a much longer list. So this is a gigantic conversation. And I'm committed to give it to you in 20-minute or less chunks. So truth and transparency are more required in transformational coaching and transformational conversations than transactional conversations. And truth and transparency are a lot slower moving than transactional conversations. So you can get somebody's attention with some kind of sensational idea that they can make a bunch of money over the course of a weekend, and they're much more likely to download a report or buy a $97 product or something like that. And it's a faster moving proposition, right? It's kind of like, forgive this if it's offensive to anybody, but it's kind of like in the dating world. If somebody were to ask me, what should I say to attract a partner? My answer won't be what I think they should say. My first response is going to be, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a long-term relationship that could lead to a marriage? Or are you looking for a one-night stand? Because what you're looking for will change what I advise. If you're looking for a one-night stand, then I'm not going to advise that you do anything that long-term relationships require, and vice versa. So in this context, a lot of people are using short-term transactional tactics in conversations that require long-term transformational, truthful, and transparent conversations. So you need to decide which path you're going to walk down, and just understand that the rules of each of these 2 paths are wildly different. And all sales tactics work for one of those 2 paths, but most people are walking a certain path, or they have a desire to walk a transformational path, but they keep buying and trying to employ transactional sales tactics. And that's where a lot of the frustration comes in. So if any of you have felt some of the frustration, you're just like, why aren't the things that I'm learning from this marketing guru working for me? Well, because the marketing guru is teaching marketing to marketers, and you're trying to teach transformation to housewives, or you're trying to teach love to couples, right? The product is different. You can't just take sales tactics and switch out the product and think that it's going to work, because the reason that people buy those different products are incredibly different. And the other thing with transformational conversations is that the emotional consequences of mistakes are not the same. What I mean by that is, if somebody purchases life coaching, let's say, or they try therapy or counseling or anything else in this kind of woo-woo sort of world of help me change my life and help me shift all my internal feelings and stuff, if it doesn't work, if that particular program or that particular person doesn't work, the emotional devastation for most people is much bigger than if they buy a stock market program and that doesn't work for them. And the reason that's really important is because that emotional devastation erodes at their trust. Not only trust of the industry or trust of the product or trust of any labels that are associated to that experience, but also trust in themselves because they made the wrong choice. So you're dealing with a conversation that is much more emotional than just transactional intellectual purchases to try to make money or to try to, just gain more success in whatever endeavor that people are doing. So the majority of the world is operating on shallow transactional purchases. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. We make transactional purchases all the time. It's just that if that's not the world that you're in, or that's not the effect that you want to have on people, then you need to understand you can't apply those rules to this journey. So today's world optimizes those transactional purchases through profitization. So what does that mean? All the social media companies are profitized for shallow transactions. And if there are profits to be made with shallow transactions, they will not optimize your transformational conversations the way that they will optimize the videos or the posts or the podcasts where they can make a lot more money through these transactional attention trades, right? So that doesn't mean that you need to play their game. It just means you need to not have the expectations of those results when you're doing this work, because transformational coaching is not a commodity. A commodity is something that can basically be interchanged, right? So if you're selling mops, the mop is the product and it's a commodity. It can be interchanged with a different mop or a different cleaning instrument. And the reason that people buy mops because they want a clean room or a clean house is very different than the reason people buy life coaching, right? Life coaching is not an interchangeable commodity like so many other programs and products are, which is why you as the product are more important than just this idea of life coaching. So people don't buy life coaching because they have $95 that they want to spend on an hourly basis for this weekly experience that they have. That's not the way most people are operating. Most people are operating with, I want to change my life. I don't even know if certain things are possible. I first need to be sold that something is possible. Then I need to be sold that it's possible for me with all of my baggage and all of my belief systems. Then I need to be sold that you are the facilitator of this transformation. And if I can be sold all those things, then I might be more interested to engage or maybe get on the phone or maybe attend an event or listen to a webinar or something like that. But nobody needs to be convinced that cleaning the floor is possible or that cleaning the floor is possible for them with all of their limiting beliefs. And they definitely don't need a facilitator to do their mopping, right? So the majority of the sales transactions don't require those three elements of believing that it's possible in general, believing that it's possible for themselves, and then believing in the facilitator to help them with that transformation. So if your sales approaches, if your marketing approaches, if your expectations don't understand those three things primarily, then I'm going to say this because I believe the literalness of what I'm about to say. It is impossible to succeed if you're going to play on the playgrounds that are optimizing everything else. So if you're going to do social media, if you're going to open up a YouTube channel, or if you're going to do podcasts or whatever, if you're in those platforms on those playgrounds that are operating by a certain set of rules, you need to play by those rules to a degree and not expect fast, like ridiculous growth, because that's not the product that you're offering out there. So I'm going to end the information here. And like I said, there's going to be a lot more, well, at least one more part to this. I would imagine there's probably going to be two, if not even three. And if you have any questions, any engagement that you want to, add your thoughts to any of this that I'm saying, please do. Or questions that you have based on all the things that I'm saying, please do. The thought that I want to end with in this video is that the majority of you that are drawn to the coaching world are drawn to it because you really want to make a difference. You're not drawn to it because you want to make a dollar. The majority of the sales tactics and the marketing tactics are driven by the fuel to make a dollar more than the fuel to make a difference. Now, a lot of people say it's about making a difference because they know the words to say that get people hooked. But the majority of the philosophies and the methods are really driven to make a dollar. And so you need to stick to your guns and do the work that you want to do. I'm going to end there, and I'll see you in the next video.